Survival House Network.
Hello, folks, and welcome to another installment of Behind the Mask Presents podcast. This is the Goose here, and with always is Riverman.
Hello.
And for this installment, I think we're going to shift gears just a tad. I thought now was a better time than any to talk about another passion of mine, the world of video gaming. Just because the last time we chatted, and actually the last couple times we had things like the Evil Dead flick and the Rob Zombie movie. I don't know about you, River, but in the last month there really hasn't been anything out in theaters brand new that really stimulates me to want to talk about.
I haven't been in a movie mood for a while. But.
Well, especially in the action of the horror movie realm, there hasn't been too much that's been out. Not to say I haven't been watching anything, which we'll get into that. But as far as new releases, I thought it was a good time to capitalize on the whole big E3 convention coming up in the gaming world. So if you're a gamer, I hope you are. I mean, otherwise, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, but this is like Christmas time for the gaming geeks. So we'll kind of get into that at the top of the hour, but we'll kind of kick things off a little old-fashioned and just sort of get loose here.
Don't we have another meat and potatoes in there too?
Well, we're going to talk about a lot. We've been in a real music mood. The big one is the new Black Sabbath record. Mm-hmm. Yours truly has listened to it a few times at this point. Riverman refuses to listen to it because he wants to, enjoy it. He wants to, and you know what? I mean, I want to. There's bands where I don't need to do that. I'm going to give 100% of my faith into it, and I want to unwrap that shrink, and I want to smell the disc, and I want to pop it into my car as soon as I leave the store and listen to it and hear that first note ring like I did when I was a kid. But you know what? Sometimes there's bands that I really do like, but I don't have all the faith in the world, and I want to take advantage of the big thing with streaming albums beforehand. So I've done that for Black Sabbath just because it's been 35 years or something like that since their last album. The Ozzy output, his solo stuff that is, hasn't been of the highest caliber, so I felt like I wanted to stream it. I don't feel so comfortable just going out and blowing a whole lot of money on it, but we'll see.
I will be blowing my wad on it.
And believe me, I'll give you an entire recap of that. We got other great things too. We are also going to talk about the Alice in Chains' newest record, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, and amongst some other stuff. But let's just get loose for a second, and let's just lay it all on the table. Let's just talk about what we've been doing lately. River, any flicks you've watched recently? What have you been doing? Oh,
God, you don't want to know the flicks I've been watching. I've been watching some really, really weird films. Haven't really been in a horror movie mood, but I did check out the Matthew McConaughey movie Killer Joe, which I really enjoyed. It's they have some really weird parts in it. The ending's just, it makes your stomach turn a little bit. Let's just say his acting was actually really good. I think he's getting better with age. I really liked him in Magic Mike. People are going to call me homosexual for that, but I do like that movie a lot. So I watched that, and then I also watched this movie called 10 Years because it had my boy crush, what's his name in it, from 21 Jump Street.
Channing
Tatum had him.
Your other Magic Mike.
My other Magic Mike. And which had Justin Long in it too, which I really like Justin Long, and it was basically a 10-year reunion type of film, and it was streaming on Stars, so I watched it on there. It was a decent flick, but nothing that blows my skirt up. And then probably the last one I watched was God, I haven't been watching nothing. That's it.
I've heard pretty good things about the new McConaughey film Mud, the indie film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you too much of the synopsis and what it's about. I've seen a trailer, but the trailer really doesn't give you that much to go off of. But definitely, it seems like it's a different kind of role for him, but it's getting some pretty cool reviews. So, we'll see. I've never been a McConaughey fan, ever since I got Stetson Cologne every year for Christmas, and, he was the spokesperson for that.
The Stetson Cologne episode we did, so.
Yeah, I hope you do.
One more thing I've been watching, actually. I wanted to throw this out there. I did rewatch for probably the third or fourth time Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to watch it with my old lady, and she actually made it an hour through it, which I was very happy with before she called it quits. But that movie just keeps getting better every time I see it. Let me tell you that.
Did she make it to the turtle scene?
Yes.
She did make it to that.
She made it through that, yeah.
Okay. Now, to me, that's the most vulgar part of the movie. You know, I mean, the fact that they're I mean, and I'm not some crazy animal lover. I mean, I don't believe in just senseless animal violence or anything like that. But, you know, I'm not somebody that owns pets or whatever. But I think that scene, there's something more gut-wrenching about that scene than even the fake women impalements, you know, which is obviously not real. But the turtle, there's something about that, man. But no, I agree. I've seen that. I think I've seen it twice. And I remember the first time I watched it, I felt that for a movie of its grade as far as budget, the acting was very solid. The pacing was very solid. And everything about it was way too good for its budget, if you know what I mean.
No, I agree. And I mean, the way they portrayed the characters, how they were beloved at first, and then they turned out to be sleazebags, which was awesome.
And, you know, that's also a film that people don't give enough credit, but I think a lot of these a lot of movies today, smaller budget films that are getting really big in the mainstream, aren't giving that movie any credit. You know, I think that is some source material. You know, I mean, sort of the guerrilla style. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say?
No, and I agree. And I mean, the storyline could be Devil's Rejects-esque, but reverse. I mean, you end up hating the characters at first, you end up loving them at the end, but vice versa. You end up liking the characters at first, and then you hate their guts at the end. You want them to die. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I just think it's a cool concept, especially for the time you're saying, and special effects and everything about it. I don't know. I love it every time I see it. I like it even more.
Hey, we'll just wait for that inevitable Hollywood remake. That'll be PG-13.
Oh, my God.
The turtle will be a Jim Henson Creature Shop, you know, creation. But anyway, for as far as what I've been watching, yeah, I've got a giant queue of movies I haven't gotten yet. You know, River and I, we're both Blu-ray fanatics, and we buy, and we, you know, when we can get the good deals, you're stupid not to get the good deals, right? I mean, we're a sucker for those bargains. And so our queue and our stack of movies tends to build up, and we're busy guys. We can only get to them when we have time. So I started digging through that, and I finally got to the Raid Redemption. I know, shame on me, huge action fan. It was like the biggest one last year critically. And I got to watch that. And, you know, I was doing an at-home workout, so I chose to go ahead and leave the English subtitles on. Not subtitles, overdubs. Normally I wouldn't, just because overdubs never make anything better. The acting is always cheesy. It can never be very good. But with that said, it was a really solid movie. I was actually really, really amazed that they made a good action movie that relied on... It was martial arts, but it wasn't super martial arts heavy. It was just gritty and violence heavy. You know, it was an action film that didn't have explosions. I mean, it was low budget. There's no explosions. There's none of that stuff. You know, there's some like basic gunfire and just some hardcore violence going on. So, you know, a pretty good film based out of Indonesia, of course, and directed by a Welsh man, I do believe. But anyway, I finally got around to that. I also watched in light of the news, which we'll get to later, a Toxic Avenger remake, I went ahead and went back and rewatched the original Toxic Avenger, which, gosh, I've been watching since I was a little kid. I had never seen any of the sequels, so those are all streaming on Netflix, so I went ahead and watched the first three. I know there's a fourth one. And, man, I tell you what, man, that first Toxic Avenger really holds up. You know, those old Troma films, you could take them or leave them, I guess, sometimes, but I don't know. Have you ever seen the original?
Oh, yes, I've seen I love the original. I haven't seen any sequels, though.
Oh, well, see, the sequels are... The second and the third one were technically, what I read, they were shot as one movie, and they were supposed to be just the second one. But, you know, by the end of it, they had so much material, it was so long that they literally edited it to be two movies. And it's way more cartoony. It's way more of a live-action cartoon or, like, comic booky style. I mean, it's still got that signature Troma-esque violence, kind of over-the-top stuff and nudity and whatever, but it's definitely more cartoony. And they change all the actors and everything and Toxie's voice and everything is different, and I just like the first one a lot better. I mean, the second and the third one are okay, but the first one's classic, man. And I hadn't seen it in a while, and actually I noticed one of the goons in that scene with the taco restaurant where Toxie saves the day from these gang members. One of the, not the lead guy, not the black guy, but his sort of second in command, the guy with the half painted blue face, that's Sandman from Death Warrant, the Van Damme film.
Oh God.
Can't kill me, Burke. I'm the Sandman. So it was like, oh, sweet, man. And he has some really cool one-liners in that one, too. But, gosh, what else? I finally got around to watching Cabin Fever, too. Mm-hmm. And, I think the last half of that movie is a lot stronger than the first half. And I understand that this was probably Ty West cutting his teeth. Everybody's got to get their start somewhere because it's definitely not – it doesn't feel like a Ty West movie.
Well, he only did half of the film.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Did he do the last half, I hope?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I remember we talked about it on one of the prior episodes, probably the first couple episodes.
No, yeah? So who directed the other half?
I don't know. But he basically, I think they ripped the carpet out from him, and he did some of the film, and then they didn't like the way it was going, so they ended up getting another director, I think.
Oh, so he was the first director, and he got replaced.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that doesn't give me a lot of hope. He might have directed the garbage part. But anyway, it's all right. The second half definitely picks up. It's definitely stranger. It's not nearly the movie the first one is. But like I said, it's interesting to see where somebody like Ty West, who is, right now River and I's one of our favorite up-and-coming quote-unquote directors, to me, it's not really a Ty West movie. You can tell he really got into his groove with something like House of the Devil, and he's on his little roll here. But they all got to do that. But anyway, it's all right. I'd say it's worth a watch. If you like the first one, just go ahead and check it out. Gosh, what else? Other than that, I've been on a Kitchen Nightmares kick.
Oh,
Gordon
really?
Ramsay. Yeah, I mean, why didn't the chicken cross the road? Because you didn't fucking cook it. I mean, I love Gordon Ramsay, man. But so I've just been addicted to that. Really, that's pretty much it. Albums, gosh, we can talk about music all day long. Lately, I've been on, of course, the albums that we're going to be reviewing tonight, and I've just been on another giant Opeth kick. So recently I got River into Opeth. Right? Tell them about that.
Got into Opeth. Started out with Damnation, I think, and then went into Watershed and. Saw them in concert and fell in love with them ever since, man. They've been in my playlist since then, and been getting into a lot of different bands too. I'd have to say it's going to be in my top 3 favorite albums of the year already, which is the new Ghost album, Infestus Sumam, which is a fantastic album. I would highly recommend checking it out. It's just a grooving album, man. It's makes you want to dance, but it's it's metal, but it's like you said, it's like what the Beach Boys.
They're like Merciful Fate mixed with the Beach Boys,
which is probably exactly the way they are. But I mean, it's a fantastic album. I'd highly recommend it. So.
Well, that's cool. We'll get into the album section here really soon, but before that, let's get into the upcoming Blu-rays. The only one I really care to talk about is obviously the Evil Dead remake is coming out, I think in the next couple of weeks or something like that. And I think we sort of shifted our opinions as of late. River and I both saw the film. We talked about it on the podcast, and I agreed. I thought that it was not worth a purchase. Then you sort of threw me under the bus and on record said you were going to buy it. Are you still going to buy it? I still won't.
It really depends on the price tag. I wouldn't mind having the Steelbook because I know they're coming out with a Steelbook. But you know what? I might buy it, but am I gonna watch it? No. But I mean, it's just gonna be. I need it in my collection, man, because I know one of those days I'm gonna get a wild hair and want to watch it.
We need more people like Riverman in this hurting economy to just go mindlessly blow their money on shit they don't use and won't ever watch. That'll get us out of the rut. But anyway, it's going to be $20 or $25, and that's not. Maybe if it was me, and eventually it went down to like $5, $6, $7, and I was feeling like you, I got that wild hair a year from now, and it happened to be $7. I might. At that point, though, I wouldn't be able to get a Steelbook or a slipcase, and then I would probably back out because he knows how passionate I am about that stuff.
But one thing about the actual DVD Blu-ray thing. I think it's just the R-rated version. They're kind of coming out with the unrated version, which is stupid.
Are we sure about that?
I don't know. Well, that's what I've been hearing on Facebook. So don't quote me on it, but that's what I've been hearing from people.
Gosh, that would be just a wasted opportunity if you ask me, because actually I kind of forgot about that, and that would be the only reason I would want to check it out. So they're making a big mistake by not doing that if that's the case.
Well, if that's true. I mean, that's what I heard on Facebook. So
like I said, if they want any of my money, even if that's a rent, they need to do that. You know what? These aren't new released movies or nothing, but I also want to make a mention. Any of you folks out there shop at Walmart, I know we're embarrassed to say it, but we all do. They released currently a slew of movies in new packaging, like awesome. They're all kind of thematic, and they all got like brand new comic artwork, and they're in these steel cases. Mm-hmm. And gosh, it's movies that a lot of us already own, and which pisses me off because I want to buy them so bad, but I already own them. Like they released the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton with a brand new case. It's so killer in comic art. They released Death Race with Jason Statham, and that's one of them. Got a slew of other films, but they're all at Walmart, and they're all on display in the entertainment section, like on the top shelf of their Blu-ray.
Blu-rays?
They're Blu-rays.
Oh, nice.
And they're the exact same editions that were out before. They just got slick new cases. Like they're all steel books, and they're like all comic style. I mean, they had me wanting to rebuy the Incredible Hulk.
What's the price tag on those?
They're all $12.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't so bad, but this is movies that are $7 to $10 normally. So you're paying a few more for these awesome cases. But
was there any Rambos or anything like that in there?
Gosh, there's no Rambo. I'm just drawing blanks here on everything they had. All I know is that they had at least 4 movies I wanted to double dip in.
Yeah,
they were so cool. But anyway, that's all I have. That's all I've noticed as of late. Gosh, what's coming out new in the theaters, man? The only thing I can think of is Man of Steel, obviously, which I don't know how you feel about that, River. I'm not a Superman fan.
That looked like, you know what? The teaser trailer I thought looked cool, but I went back and been seeing ads on TV and stuff. It looks like crap, dude. I'll wait till it comes out on Redbox to actually watch it.
He's just never fascinated me. Superman's never done anything for me. An alien being that is pretty much supreme powerful in every sense of the way, except with one weakness. That's boring to me. I mean, I get why Batman has such an appeal. He's a normal everyman, rich, and, he uses his technology. I get that's cool, man. Somebody with a little bit of and he's like a lot of humanity there. He struggles. Batman has struggled with anger. He's not perfect. He's been depressed. He's been everything under the book. Superman is Superman.
Well, that and the fact that he can disguise himself with glasses and some hair mousse is just ridiculous.
But you got to understand, he was the first superhero, and back then, they started it all. I mean, Superman. Superman sounds generic, but there wasn't a superhero before him. So you hear Superman, and it was original back then. And the whole glasses and the hair thing, whatever. It didn't get nearly as complicated till later on. So it's only now to me that he seems really dated, and I still don't get the appeal. And they've never had a good Superman movie, but I've never liked them either. I know some people like the Richard Donner ones. I don't know. That last one with what's-his-face and Kevin Spacey, don't even get me started on that piece of trash.
Nah, I think I like 3 or 4. The one with Gene Hackman.
I was like, I don't remember. I don't know. He went in the first one, but I don't know. Whatever. Superman sucks, in my opinion. Let us know if you disagree with us on that. Everybody's got a lot of faith in the whole, it's, Nolan produced, and, it's going to be dark and gritty like Batman.
Everybody's sucking his dick still.
It's going to be dark and gritty. And then you got, of course, Zack Snyder, which I don't get Zack Snyder, man. I mean, I don't...
Everybody loves The Watchmen. It's a decent film, but, I mean, it's nothing to get off to, I think.
The Watchmen. And 300, come on. I mean, that's the movie that put him on the map. That movie was entertaining enough for a theatrical watch, but I had no desire to watch that movie again once I left the theater.
I never watched it all the way through, and I don't want to.
Well, it's probably because you didn't see it in the theater. But yeah, at home, I can imagine why you wouldn't do it. But, every jock affliction-wearing fighter-type dude, bro, worshipped that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many of those guys I know that whenever they go to train or they're going out to a fight, they always watch 300 before they hit the gym to get pumped. And I'm like, it's just, it just doesn't do it for me, But that is, and he obviously is like a Ty West where he had to cut his teeth on Dawn of the Dead remake, But in which that was garbage too. He just hasn't done anything for me, yet. But I don't know. And as far as the Nolan thing, he's a good director. I enjoy his Batman movies. I do. Do I think he's God's gift to the film industry? I don't think so. I don't think he's Scorsese or anybody like that.
No way.
But, I get it. He's enjoying his time right now. I actually watched, for the first time last week, Memento.
Oh, yeah.
With Guy Pearce.
That's a good movie.
It's okay. It's all right. I thought it was nicely directed and everything else. And I didn't like... With a movie like that, it's hard to come at you with a twist that you're not going to see coming or see as one of the possibilities. But I thought it was just lame. It just wasn't very good. It was just kind of weak, a little underwhelming. But it was an all right film. Guy Pearce is a good actor. Gosh, but other than that, World War Z, isn't that coming out here soon?
Yeah, World War Z.
That movie looks like trash. I'm sorry.
I don't think it looks great by any means, but it kind of reminds me of like an I Am Legend, which I do enjoy that film. Of course, the CGI and all that stuff, and everybody's bitching about it, but I don't care anymore. It's just like I just want to see something good, especially Brad Pitt's in it. It doesn't. That's the only reason I want to see it because I do love Brad Pitt.
But Brad Pitt isn't a deal breaker or a seller for me.
For me, he
doesn't close the deal because 90s Brad Pitt was flawless, man. Those movies like 12 Monkeys and Seven and Legends of the Fall, he was pretty flawless, I thought. But you know what? Ever since that, the Mr. and Mrs. Smith days, 2000 and on, and I even think Fight Club is overrated. Someone can shoot me, but that was like 2000s.
You know what? I really enjoyed that. That Killing Them Softly that just came out was a piece of crap.
I heard it was bad.
Yeah.
I heard it was bad. But, yeah, so I just think it looks horrible, man. You got all the CGI zombies, and I get how you're comparing it to the Will Smith movie and whatnot, but I heard that they had to go and redo the ending.
Oh, really?
They took it back to the drawing board. I guess it was finished, and somebody had a problem with something. I don't know who it was, because I think Brad Pitt's actually a producer on it, but one of the distribution companies, I don't know, had a problem, and they had to go back and do a whole new ending and get everybody back together, but I don't know. We'll see. It's a movie I might go see if the night's right and the friends are right that want to go see it. I will give it a chance, but I definitely will be checking out the advanced reviewing of it.
Well, I don't know if it's something I'm willing to spend my money at theaters. Maybe a matinee, but I would.
If the reviews leading up to it that week before or whatever are good enough, I might throw down some matinee cash for it.
Yeah.
But that can actually. You mentioned Legends. The Will Smith movie.
I Am Legend?
I Am Legend. Whatever. Anyway, you mentioned that. We're going to have that segue into our news section because I wanted to talk about that. Speaking of Will Smith, the new After Earth movie, directed by my favorite director, not M. Night Shyamalan, bombed. It was an underwhelming performance, and M. Night Shyamalan, even Will Smith couldn't save that guy. In fact, because of that shitty, awful, horrible flash in the pan director, Will Smith has broken his streak as the box office king. It's his first movie since, I don't know, probably Independence Day that isn't number one in the box office, and it underperformed. I think it debuted at number 3, something retarded.
You sure that movie where he's like a wandering bum that takes a bunch of
Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, was that number 1?
I read an article saying that this was his first movie. It broke his streak.
That was a shitty movie, but moving on.
Whatever. It's still Will Smith, and I'm not saying I like Will Smith. I think he's a good actor, but I like very few of his movies. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Independence Day. I don't like Men in Black. I don't like
Bad Boys. Bad Boys is awesome.
I hate Bad Boys. That movie sucks, dude.
I love it.
It's fucking awful.
I saw it in theaters, dude. I love it.
Okay, I could see you were a kid when that came out in 1995, so maybe you have some attachment to it. But I actually watched it. I tried to give it another chance last week, actually. I watched it, actually. And it just, I know it's Michael Bay's first film, relatively low budget for him. Actually, it's pretty low budget. I think it's only like $8 million or something like that. But it's just not good, man. It's trying to cash in on the buddy cop formula, but it's not even doing it well. Their chemistry is not good.
Oh, I think their chemistry's funny, dude. I love that the soundtrack's amazing. I love everything about that film, dude. It's great.
I think the dialogue is not good. It's not funny. It's just, it misses the mark on so many levels. I just don't like it. And I've never seen the second one, and I don't want to see the second
one. Sucks.
And then they're coming out with the third one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's supposedly tentative for 2015. I'm sure that one won't be very good, but I just doesn't do anything for me.
You know what sequel they need to make is Demolition 2, man.
I would love to see Demolition Man 2. That would be incredible. That would be a movie that I would pay that had Wesley Snipes in it.
Demolition Man is probably one of my favorite action films, and yeah, if Wesley Snipes is back in it, that would be amazing.
It's not, but the thing is I will argue tooth and nail that it's not an action movie. That is a comedy. Dude,
and an action sci-fi. It can be.
I agree. It's a little bit of everything, but I'd say it definitely is more comedy. I would definitely call it a 75% comedy, but I love it. I think it's fantastic.
It's the only film Rob Schneider's good in.
Yeah, gosh, I just saw Rob Schneider. I just watched that movie Knock Off with Van Damme and Rob Schneider. It's so horrible. But anyway, speaking of Wesley Snipes, news on the Expendables 3 casting. It got a release date, too. It comes out August 15th of next year. And they officially announced Wesley Snipes is in it, along with Mila Jovovich from the Resident Evil franchise. Gosh, who else? Nicolas Cage. And, gosh, one more. Oh, Jackie Chan, the biggest one. The only one that does anything for me, frankly. Because I don't care for Wesley Snipes outside of Demolition Man.
Dude, Snipes would be a great villain, dude. If he was Simon Phoenix as a villain, dude.
The only way I could see this working, because I hate Nicolas Cage too, but they need to somehow make Wesley Snipes and Nicolas Cage the bad guys.
That'd be cool.
That's the only way to work, because I think Nicolas Cage is crazy enough and kooky enough to pull off a villain.
Face Off Nicolas Cage, dude.
Dude, he's awesome. Face Off is the only Nicolas Cage movie I like. So, and you know what? I guess the only film I like Wesley Snipes in too. He's a bad guy, so it's like, let's do it. I like White Man Can't Jump. I forgot about that one, but that's just kind of separate from all this. So I want those two as the bad guy. Jackie Chan, if he's replacing Jet Li, I can deal with that, but I think he'd be incredible. He definitely brings some good comedy element to it.
We should have John Travolta be the bisexual expendable, dude.
He's going to be the transgender bisexual?
He can play with Jackie Chan's egg roll, dude.
And you know what? I'm not a fan of Mila Jovovich. I mean, I love The Fifth Element, but I hate those Resident Evil movies. But anyway, they're in, if she's going to be the female in this one, it could be fine. I'm not too tied down to who they put in that role. But she is somewhat of a name, and she'll bring in some revenue from the Resident Evil fans, I guess. But I don't know. I'm cool with that. What I am excited about, though, is that Sylvester Stallone acknowledged that a new bar has been set, and that bar was with the Raid Redemption, and he was praising it just last week, and he was saying that we have a new bar to topple. So if they really are successful at making a movie that's more violent and crazy than the Raid Redemption, then I'm excited. Hopefully they can pull it off.
Well, Chuck Norris is in it again, and he's probably going to put the kibosh on that.
They didn't confirm Chuck Norris. They only confirmed the 4 I mentioned. Okay. That was it. And I sure as hell hope that means that Steven Seagal's not in it. I really hope, because believe me, I mean, to me, I don't know. It doesn't get me nearly as excited as the last round, where you had the Van Dams in it and things like that, and Arnold. And it's like now we're trading up Van Damme and Arnie for Snipes and Cage. It's like, ew.
Well, they need Danny Trejo in it, so he doesn't have to do the shitty Machete sequel.
Well, the Machete, speaking of that, Machete Kills, that trailer got released this week. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee. I mean, you watch a trailer like that, and I don't think it's going to sell you that it's necessarily going to be good or bad. I mean, it's just a trailer. But there's some, it could very well be better. I don't know. I have hopes in it because I think the Machete franchise has a potential. I just don't think the first movie delivered on it. But it's got, Charlie Sheen in there, and which is funny and all that stuff in the trailer. Check it out, though. They released that this week. And
it's funny I say that shitty because I used to love that movie. I thought it was great. And then, just like you said, it doesn't hold up. I watched it 2 or 3 more times, and I was like, this movie sucks, dude.
It doesn't hold up at all. And like I said, I'm hoping they hit it out of the park with a new one. Because the trailer's actually funny because I think it was an exclusive for Yahoo Movies, and they got Danny Trejo in Machete character introducing the video. Like, this is Machete. I am showing you my new movie, Machete Kills. Strictly for Yahoo Movies. Machete. Anyway, so it's funny. Check it out, guys, and watch that. Let us know what you think about that. Gosh, other than that, we talked about it earlier. Arnold Schwarzenegger was announced to be in the Toxic Avenger reboot. Not remake, reboot. But how cool is that, though? I think that's awesome, man. I think it makes it, I don't know. I already would have seen it. But, anything with a reboot attached leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But the fact that they've thrown Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Anything with Arnold attached, I'm going to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. And not too many of these reboots actually have big stars in them. They're always cheap Hollywood cash-ins, and they pay up-and-coming unknown actors cheap wages so they can be in them, and they can capitalize on a name. They're not going to pull some obscure script with a small fan base and then pay, Tom Cruise $20 million to star in it. They never do that. But so the fact that Arnold's in it, who knows, could be great. So we'll look out for that. Music news. The biggest news that's went down since we last recorded was the passing of Jeff Hanneman of Slayer. We need a moment of silence for Jeff Hanneman. Okay, that's it. Anyway. He was the mastermind of Slayer. People would argue that he was Slayer. He wrote all of the band's biggest, I'd say most of the band's biggest classics, South of Heaven, Angel of Death, things like that. Yeah, people could say he died with Slayer, but he's actually been pretty lazy in their catalog as of late. I really don't think he's contributed much to the writing process in the last few records. But maybe that explains the decline in the quality of their music too. So everybody tip one back for Jeff Hanneman. Also, if that news wasn't bad enough for the Slayer camp, Dave Lombardo has officially been fired. Boo. So now we got half of the original Slayer. We went from having the complete deal to half, and they've replaced him yet again with Paul Bostaff, which anybody that's a fan of Slayer, they're going to know that Paul Bostaff replaced Dave Lombardo the first time for starting with Divine Intervention and all the way through God Hates Us All. I personally think Paul Bostaff is a great drummer. And if anybody's going to replace him, I'm glad it's him. And Divine Intervention is, to me, their most underrated record, and it's my personal favorite, second favorite behind Seasons in the Abyss. So,
yeah, Seasons still number one. Rain and Blood's number two.
Rain and Blood's number two? Not me, man, not me. But it's a good one. So I have no problem with Paul Bostaff, and I guess for now, Gary Holt of Exodus is going to be filling in for Jeff Hanneman just a little bit longer. You know what? I understand he's got Exodus, and they still put out killer albums, man. So I would never want Exodus to break up, but I would not be – I think the only way they can go is to just recruit him full-time. I mean, at least then you sort of have a thrash all-stars version of Slayer. You have people with credibility, And I've seen Gary Holt play with Slayer twice now, and, dude, he's got a fire – in him that Jeff Hanneman didn't have the last few times I saw him. I mean, you could tell he was a little uninspired. You could tell he was tired. I think River and I even caught him once with Jeff Hanneman back in the day, and I don't know.
You could tell it on the Big 4 Blu-ray that he split out of it too.
Yeah, I mean, so have that, whatever. That's my opinion how they could save Slayer. Some people think they should hang it up. I can understand if they don't want to hang it up. I mean, this is their livelihood, but like I said, you got Paul Bostaff, whatever. It would be awesome if you had Lombardo back. But hire Gary Holt full-time, and let's just put out the album that's been, in the queue for about 2 years now.
I personally think they should hang it up, but that's just my opinion.
Because
their last couple albums suck, I think. But
I think their last couple albums are listenable. I don't think they're memorable. So, but we'll say that, and we'll leave that. And then we're going to move on to... God, jumping ship just a little bit. I know we went from music and now we're going to go to TV. Anybody hear about the Netflix? And they brought back Arrested Development season 4. I was a huge fan of the show.
I didn't hear that. No, I got rid of my Netflix.
Okay, well that's been talked about for a long time now that it was resurrected as a Netflix original and semi-original. And it's no kid. I mean, I know why they're doing that. I know why they're picking up these old shows and things like that. I'm pretty sure for that show alone, it's accrued such a fan base since it's been canceled. It only ran for 3 years, starting in 2003, from 03 to 06. I'm sure there's been a lot of Netflix subscriptions added just for that show. And I watched it. I was a big fan of the series. And I watched the first 3 seasons, which are streaming on Netflix, leading up to the 4th one before I started that one, just so I could be all fresh in mind. And I got to say, man, I think I I hit our Facebooks and things like that, and I started some tirades with a couple of people that frequent there about how I felt about it, and it just. By the third episode, I wanted to hang it up. I'm like, I can't. If this gets better, I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm going to find out because I can't make it through anymore. The first 3 episodes, at least, they were so disorganized and they were such a mess. Now, it did pick up. It picked up a bit and it got a little more solid towards the end. So I'm glad I stuck around for it. But if you're not familiar with this show, River, it's centered around Jason Bateman's character.
See, I've never even seen it before.
Okay.
It's funny you're saying about Jason Bateman because I was just watching Dodgeball the other night and I forgot he was even in the film.
Yeah, the celebrity announcer guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's usually centered around Jason Bateman's character and all of the family, Tobias and his sister and all these people, George Sr., these people played support and they were all great. This one, supposedly, I found out why it was like this, but this one, they had, like, centered episodes. Like, I think Jason Bateman was really only appeared in maybe 4 episodes out of the entire season. And they'd have episodes that only had his sister in it. And they'd have episodes that only had, maybe in it. Or only, so they were never together. And then by the end of the series, they kind of all pieced them together, like, hey, this is what was going on when he was doing this and when he was doing this, like a Tarantino type thing. And then I thought it was just so disorganized and messy. But then I read that I guess that was because they couldn't get them all together.
Huh.
I don't know if that's because they couldn't afford it. I mean, you got people like Jason Bateman and you got people like Michael Cera, who plays his son.
Oh, I hate him.
But he's good in the show. He is good in the show, and that's where he kind of got his start. But this is before Superbad and all that stuff. But anyway, these people are making movies now. And Jason Bateman, he's in a lot of movies nowadays, man. He's really, really busy. So I can understand, it probably being a little more difficult for these people to come commit to making 15 episodes of whatever. So I don't know. They had to do whatever they had to do. And I think it suffers for it. And I would still like to see another season of it. But if they do go forward with season 5, I hope they only do it if they can get them all together again, because I miss it being centered around Michael Bluth and not, just everybody else. But anyway, it's all right. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I don't know. I think we should take a break and then get into our review section.
Okay, we'll be back here soon. Stay tuned.
If you've ever considered stepping behind the beaded curtain at a sleazy video store, if you've ever watched something so vile that you had to lock the door behind you, if you currently have a VCR still connected to your home theater, then get yourself over to Exploited Cinema at exploitedcinema.blogspot.com. Bat32 and J-Dog always keep it greasy, and remember to keep telling yourself
it's only a podcast.
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 All right, welcome back, folks. Hopefully you had a nice break. I know Riverman did.
Oh, I did.
We're going to get into our review section before we get into the meat of our topic. And we're going to start with a couple of live gigs that River and I have caught between the two of us. I think a month ago, this month, I think between the two of us, we saw the Deftones, we saw Opeth, and we saw Alice in Chains. So we'll just kind of give a brief overview of that. I saw the Deftones here where I'm from, and a really, really, really small venue. And it was the second time I've seen the Deftones. The last time I saw them was in 2003, a long time ago. And the show was horrible. They had all kinds of technical difficulties. Granted, they were on a package tour, and they were not the headliner. And you know how that goes. They don't get much setup time. They don't get a sound check. And it was Metallica's show, actually. So nothing was working. You couldn't hear anything. It was just a mess. And so I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I wanted to give them another chance. And I know Chino Moreno, if you guys are fans, he tends to be a little flat live, and he had a bad period there for a while. But, man, they were on fire. They were flawless. If you guys can catch them on their current run, please do so. I mean, their last 2 albums, Koi no Yokan and Diamond Eyes, are 2 of their best. They're incredible. The band is on fire right now. Chino Moreno sounded incredible. The set was about as perfect as it could get, especially complete with a adrenaline encore 3 songs back to back, and it was an amazing show. So catch them. River, you saw Opeth. How was that?
So Opeth, I saw him at a small club. I want to say it was half full. There was nobody there really, but I don't know. It was first time I've seen Opeth. I just started getting into Opeth, and I thought it was an awesome show. I already looked at their set list before I went, but I recorded a song. So on video, and we posted it on YouTube. So go and check that out. The highlight for me was probably Hessian Peel, which was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I hope to go back to that small club. Actually, Lamb of God's playing here this Saturday, but I can't make it to it, which I am upset about. But I've seen Lamb of God like 4 or 5 times, so.
Wow.
I'm not losing too much sleep.
I've seen him 8 times, and River's very, very distraught, and as I am upset that he also wasn't able to make it to the Beach Boys concert featuring John Stamos. You know how bad I wanted some footage for the YouTube channel of John Stamos hitting the bongos on Kokomo, or maybe they sang a cover of his rendition of Forever.
He did sing Forever, dude.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
And he sang it?
Yeah.
He sang lead.
He sang lead. That's what I heard.
Because I read that, when he's played with them, they do play Forever sometimes, and he doesn't sing lead.
Maybe he didn't sing lead, but they played it. I know they played it.
Gosh, I would have died, man.
No, I agree, and I think I was watching the UFC fights that night, so I...
Oh, you traded John Stamos and the Beach Boys for... God, sorry, pardon my French. I shouldn't talk like that. There's
a lot of UFC fans listening, man. Don't start that shit.
Oh, dude, I know. Look, no disrespect to the sport. I actually think the sport is pretty cool, but come on, man. UFC's on all the time. You could have saw the Beach Boys.
It's a pay-per-view. I was coming off the Alice in Chains show the night before, and I didn't want to go to another show back to back. I was already wiped out from that show.
Oh God!
Moving on to that show though, they sounded amazing live. Of course, the opening acts were amazing. Just kidding. Hailstorm, which is garbage, and then you have Bullet for My Valentine, which the majority of people there went to go see that crap band, which I can't say enough bad things about. It was all, speaking of Affliction, it was all the Affliction meatheads there, moshing, and the 16-year-olds, and I felt really out of place. But I did get to see Alice in Chains, which they sounded amazing. And Rotten Apple live was, oh God, man, I started crying, dude. It was great.
How good were William Duvall's and Jerry Cantrell's vocals? William
Duvall, I mean, I give that guy mad praise because he's great, man. He led the way, I thought, and it was funny to see Jerry headbanging with no hair now.
Yeah, that new haircut, man. I tell you what, it makes him look his age.
It does, man, but Jerry is spot on, and the whole band was great, dude. And
they sound good. Vocally, those two sound good. They sound just like the record.
They do. They sound exactly like it. And I actually caught, on Palladia, they had a live concert of theirs, too, coming off the last album, Bullet Gives Way to Blue.
No, Black Gives Way.
I said Bullet. I'm thinking of Bullet for My Valentine.
Bullet Gives Way to Blue.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Bullet for My Valentine. But yeah, and that was really cool too. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. And kind of branching off, the new Judas Priest is their new DVD/Blu-ray is on Palladia. They showed it on there. So if you don't want to go out and buy it right away, go out and check out. It's only an hour, but it's really fucking cool. So I would highly recommend.
They're only showing part of it on Palladia.
They're only showing a part of it, but it's really cool.
I wanted to check it out. I wanted to get it because, every time there's a new live concert that comes out on Blu-ray, I get excited. The pickings are slim, so I kind of get excited for maybe things I wouldn't necessarily. But I wanted to get that, but I got to once again boycott Best Buy because the first week it came out, they ran it on sale for what, $13.99?
Yep.
Okay. Now, and its regular price is $23.99.
Yeah.
The first week it was on sale, our Best Buys in our area did not have it. And I couldn't get it. And now I refuse to pay $24 for it. And you talk to those guys, And I asked them, and there was actually they also ran the Shining Special Edition on sale too, which they didn't have it either. And I asked them, I said, so what's the purpose of you guys putting up these signs that something is on sale when you guys do not carry it the week you're having on sale and you don't have any? And I asked them, is there any way you guys could order this off the website and then honor the sale price? And nobody would do it for me. I'm like, this is fucking a sham.
That's ridiculous. What was their explanation for that? Why don't they carry it if they run an ad on it?
Nobody knows what they're talking about there. They're just like, oh, I don't know, I just work here, man. But and I even asked the manager, I'm like, well, is there any way I could order it off the website and you guys can ship it or whatever and just honor the price and change? I mean, come on. I can't get it. It's like I can't take part in these sales and I want to.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we can't. The prices on the website are fixed. I'm like, yeah, but I'm thinking you could order it on the website and then you could give me, I don't know, give me a gift card or something for the difference.
They can't honor their own prices. That's so stupid.
And I think if I would have went to different Best Buys, and I would have raised hell, I think maybe I would have got a different answer because they can do that stuff. I just thought it was a sham. So I missed out on getting The Shining for a really cheap price.
Well, why didn't you go to Walmart and price match it?
Because Walmart doesn't carry shit either.
That's true.
They don't carry it either. And they only carry if availability's there. So, for example, if I go and I say, hey, this is on sale at Best Buy, can you price comp it? It's not in the ad. For example, The Shining wasn't in the ad. So I could call them on the phone and get them to tell them, and then they're going to be like, well, we're out. Oh, they won't honor if they're out because obviously that's why you're coming here. It's so stupid, dude. I hate big chain stores. I hate it. But anyway, that's neither here or there. That's good. We don't have any bad reviews about our concerts. That's kind of
phenomenal.
They were all great. So catch Opeth, catch Alice in Chains, catch the Deftones. They're all currently on tour.
Catch the YouTube channel with the Opeth on it.
Mm-hmm. And some Alice in Chains footage that hopefully will soon be going up. Hopefully. But anyway, with that said, we're going to get into our meat of our portion here. We're going to talk about the new records from Alice in Chains and then, of course, Black Sabbath before we get into our final discussion on E3. Alice in Chains, The Devil Put Dinosaurs here. Black Gives Way to Blue is such a classic. That last album is a masterpiece, and I do believe that it picks up right where the self-titled from 1995 left off. I do naturally believe that if they would have came out with a record in 1998, it could have very well sounded like Black Gives Way to Blue with Lane Staley. And with that said, The Devil Put Dinosaurs here wouldn't sound like that. It does sound like the natural step forward from Black Gives Way to Blue, though. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. This one is a grower, man. It's taken a little bit more time than Black Gives Way. Black Gives Way took a little time, too. It took a few spins for me to really appreciate it. This one's taken even more, man. And I could say good things about it. There's key tracks. The tracks I latch onto are the singles. Hollow, Stone, and Scalpel I like. And I like
Phantom Limb a lot. I mean, it's a rocker. I just think sort of in the middle of the album, it's coming off a little monotonous, and you kind of get lost in the void of things. So, but I just think, I don't know. I'm hoping it's just a thing I can only. I'm hoping that it's just the fact that I need to take it little by little. And the thing is, you really need to, because I talked to you, Goose, like a week ago about this. How this album I wasn't happy with, and I liked it, but it wasn't growing on me. But it is really growing on me now, man. I've been spinning around in my car listening to it, and I have to say, I love the title track, Devil's Put Dinosaurs here. I love that track, dude. And it's just, there's a lot more tracks that I'm starting to get into, and it is a grower, not a shower, but it is really starting to show for me, dude.
And that's very cool. And Alice in Chains is going to be that band, one of those bands that I'm always going to give that extra benefit of the doubt, because some of my favorite records of all time are the ones that grew on me over time. Mm-hmm. Actually, some of my favorite bands, when I first got introduced to them, I absolutely hated the record I had gotten from them, and it literally, that I ended up going back to like a couple years later. So, I understand this stuff can take time sometimes. So I'm going to keep giving it the benefit of the doubt, because it's definitely got a lot going for it. It sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The production is every bit as good as the last album. I think it's darker, whereas Black Gives Way to Blue, it's a different era. The fact that we have a second album with William Duvall and the second album has different themes than the Lane Staley area, it signifies that we're in a whole new era for Alice in Chains. Gone are the themes of drug abuse and junkies and stuff like that we had in the Staley days. The last album was a true tribute to Lane Staley. It was a very sad album, but it was also their most positive album, which Alice in Chains was never known for. Always depressive. But it was actually, looking on the bright side of things, which was great for that album. This one, the positive outlook is gone. It's a dark album again, but I wouldn't say it's the same stuff. It's not the drug stuff. Obviously you got the tongue-in-cheek Christianity thing going on in there, and it's definitely its own album, and I hope everybody else can at least agree with me there. I think it has a place in the discography. It's got its own personality, and like I said, it sounds great, man. Mike Inez and his bass is booming on it. I can't complain about how good everybody sounds on it. My real complaint here, besides just it having to grow on it, is the fact that I just knew that William Duvall was just, with the first album with him, he wasn't on it very much, and I figured, okay, look, they're wanting to warm up the fans because this is a brand new start, and they don't want to sit there and just have this guy all over every track. It wouldn't be easing him into things. I knew that the next album they were going to slowly work him in more and more. If anything, he's on it less than the last one.
Yep.
He's on it just as much. Don't get me wrong. Him and Jerry are doing that harmonize, and it's not even harmonizing. They're like doing the. Unlike Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell, where you could still pick apart the two voices, in sync with each other. They had very, very contrasting but well put together voices. William Duvall and Jerry Cantrell have their thing down to a science where they're almost one voice when they sing together, a drone. Their two voices become a whole new voice. So William Duvall's in there, but the way it's mixed and the way they're singing, he's not really standing out. It's William Duvall with Jerry Cantrell. And as far as solo spots, Jerry Cantrell has a couple of moments. He has a couple songs like Scalpel, I Know. William Duvall has none.
Which is sad because William Duvall's great.
Well, and I just think that I understand they did that a lot with Black Gives Way to Blue, but the most of the singing that's going on is them together, this unison thing, where it's almost become the staple of the band. It's not like they have two singers. It's one guy's lead, one guy's backup, and they swap off. They got two singers that are creating one droning voice, which is cool, but I think they need to back off it now a little bit. I mean, I kind of miss having one guy sing lead and then somebody else legitimately singing backup. I mean, that would be great. Think of a song like Private Hell off the last album.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you had the elements of, both of them singing together. You had Jerry singing most of it, then you had William Duvall singing backup. I mean, you clearly had everything set apart. It was really cool. So I just think that's laid on a little thick. I wish they did a little bit more of that. But other than that, we'll see if it grows on me.
I'd give it 4 out of 5 masks, though, for me.
Oh, so far?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Right now, I'm going to give it... we're doing 5 masks? I don't like 5. Let's do 10. 10 makes it so much easier. Gosh. You know what? If we're going to go... I'm going to go off 10, and I'm going to say 6 out of 10 right now.
Oh, I'd give it at least 7.5, dude. It's starting to grow on me a lot more than you.
Right now. Well, I mean, I haven't been listening to it. I've been listening to Opeth, man. I've been getting distracted. Anyway, that's that one. The bigger one that we have to talk about is the Black Sabbath album, 13, the first record in, 35 years, something like that. I've listened to it. I actually listened to it 3 times just to kind of wear off that first listen impression. And I got to say, it's everything that I expected it to be. I was not shocked or surprised by anything. I was expecting it to sound like vintage Sabbath because they were going for it. I was expecting them to pretty much carbon copy their exact formulas they used on the old records, and they did that. And I expected it to be good for what it was, but I was scared that it really wouldn't have any re-listen value and that it wasn't going to hold up as far as be classic. And that's just the way I'm feeling now, and I've listened to it 3 times to see if it grew on me any, and it's not really. The thing is the record sounds good. The production sounds good. Tony Iommi sounds great. You know what? And people are saying if anybody's a weak link, it's Ozzy Osbourne. But you know what? He sounds really, really, really good on the whole record. And he doesn't sound processed to me at all. I mean, he has to be processed probably a little bit, but they did such a good job at it. You can't, he sounds good. He's clearly staying in a comfort zone vocally, range-wise. But you know what? That's cool. That can work. If you guys think about the original Black Sabbath self-titled album, he stayed really low and he didn't really do too much range-wise. It wasn't until Volume 4 and onward that the drugs really had an influence and he was getting crazy with some of those real high-pitched vocals, Mm-hmm. So it definitely has a vibe of the first Black Sabbath album. That's something I could say that's really good about it. It sounds great. That rawness, that rive, it kind of sounds like they're jamming in a room. It sounds like they're jamming in the studio. And they have and there's one song in particular, the second to last track, there's one solo bit where it sounds like the first album, and it sounds great. I mean, I just think that there's not a standout track. After I listened to it, I generally forgot about it. And I'm like, well, what was that song? What was that song? And I've listened to it 3 times at this point, and I still could not hum an intro. I'm like, whoa, how does that song go? Like, I don't know. It just kind of all runs together. It's like, so you understand what I'm saying, River? I
do, but I mean, like I said, I'm going to pick it up, and I really don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, the one single that I did hear was God Is Dead, which was amazing, I thought.
And so, okay, look, and God Is Dead is a principal example of what I'm talking about. That song is step by step ripping off and capitalizing on the formula of the original Black Sabbath song. We got a real slow, doomy, droney, long song, and then after about 6 or 7 minutes, it kind of picks up with sort of an upper beat riff. It's the exact same formula, and they even do that. They cash in on that with another track. Gosh, I don't remember which one it is. I think it's track 4, but it's their stoner song. They had that on Paranoid. They had Planet Caravan, and then they had Solitude. They had those old stoner songs, and they copied it down to the rotary effect on Ozzy's voice that he had on both Planet Caravan and on Solitude for Master of Reality. I mean, to me, I thought that was a cheap shot. I get it. They're trying to relive the old formula, but come on. When I heard him, that old talking through a fan effect, I'm like, they're doing this again? How obvious can you be? But with that said, the song is good. I'm not trying to beat up on it. I just think they played it really, really, really safe. I think they could have delivered a classic Sabbath album without quite taking it as safe and as far as they did.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's better than pulling a Megadeth.
No, I think there is. I'm giving it a dock for that. I think they could have had a classic Sabbath album without going as far as, okay, the first song is a doomy Black Sabbath song, just like Black Sabbath, and then we're gonna have the stoner track song that you want to smoke pot to, and with Ozzy singing through a rotary again. I mean, come on, that's too much carbon copy. They don't need to do that. They didn't need to go that far, so I'm docking them. And the end of the record, the last song, when it fades out with the sound of the rain and the church bell.
That's cool.
From the first album.
Yeah.
Remember how Black Sabbath kicks in? You hear okay, so it's coming full circle. But that pretty much tells you that this is going to be their last album. And they know that. And if this is their last album, then, you know what? I guess that's kind of cool. It starts and it ends, I don't know. It's fine. But I don't know. We'll see. It is what it is. It sounds great. I'll give them that. And I'm going to listen to it again. And I'm going to try and get it. But right now, I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 masks.
Oh, man. That's butchering it, man.
Was that keeping you on your toes, River? 6 out of 10. That's, like I said, it sounds good. And when you're listening to it, it sounds good enough. But there's not a standout song. And I'm telling you, man, back in the day, you listen to Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, you're going to remember a song like Spiral Architect after the record's done. You're going to remember a song like Into the Void off Master of Reality when it's done. These albums all had songs that stood apart. You listen to Paranoid, Hand of Doom, Iron Man, Fairies Wear Boots. All these songs are so memorable. And granted, we've had so many years to have these ingrained as staples in our minds. These are classic albums. So those albums do have that. I'll give that. But I don't know. I'm just having trouble getting that out of this record. That's my opinion. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that.
I'll have my opinion on the next show, so I'll let you know.
I did not, granted, the one that I heard does not have the bonus songs from the special edition coming out, which has like 4 other songs I think on it, which that alone might make me want to go check those out. But you know what? Bonus songs are usually bonus songs for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
They're usually shit. They're, the bonus, what you pay all this extra money for when you buy the special edition, it's the leftovers that are no good.
Yeah.
And they're usually very rare. Is there any that are as good as, that are on the real album? So I don't have any hope for that. But we'll see. I would like to hear it on my nice car stereo. I want to hear it loud. So that's all I got to say about that. We are going to move into our final discussion for the evening. And Gamers Unite E3. I think it's going down next week or something like that. You guys can crucify me. I don't have the date right off the top of my head, but I'm following it. And the biggest things in recent time was that they unveiled the next wave generation of video game systems. We got the PlayStation 4 unveiled over a month ago. We had the new Xbox One revealed, I believe, last week. And I don't know if you follow this stuff, River, but PS4 is pretty much getting the bulk of the praise here. I think as soon as Xbox One, they made their announcement of their specs and everything, the stock in Sony went way up.
Really?
Yeah, when Xbox got revealed, because everybody's PlayStation came out first. Then everybody was waiting for Xbox a month later. And as soon as the reveal came out for Xbox, man, Sony stock went up. That's not a good sign. Because they're marketing this Xbox One as more of a everything device, and they're not focusing on it being a video gaming system. And that's their biggest mistake. Like, hey, you can do this. You can do social media on it. You can do this. You can have sex with it. Okay, but what games does it play? And the reveal was so far off topic. They were missing the point. And the biggest thing that is pissing people off about this new Xbox is they are doing this thing where each game you buy has to be registered to your system.
Oh, that's horrible.
So it's gonna make it virtually impossible for you to buy used games.
That's horrible.
And so basically, that was the rumor going around for a long time, and people were pissed off at it, saying, well, I get where people are coming from. Like, wait a second. So you're telling me that if I pay $60, $70 for it, they're saying that the new games could be $70. So whatever. That's too much, but whatever. If you're saying, hey, I'm paying $70 for a new game, I am buying property. So I pay $70 for something, I own it. So you're telling me that I cannot lend it to a friend, something I own.
I know, that's ridiculous.
I can understand that. So, and then they came out and said, oh, well, no, that's not the case. That's not going to happen. Then Xbox fans had a little bit of a sigh of relief. Then the actual reveal came out, and they were kind of yes and no. They weren't lying, but they were. Here's the gist. They can still sell used games if GameStop wants, or, people like GameStop. Mm-hmm. And but they're pretty much making it to where they're not going to want to. They're basically saying, we weren't lying. Like, if GameStop wants to sell these used games, they can. But if somebody else buys them, they're going to have to pay GameStop's price for a used game. And then to play that game, they're going to have to pay the retail value again to register on their system.
Oh. So what's the point of that?
That's what they're saying. So they're saying, hey, we're not saying GameStop can't sell them, but they know they're not. They're not going to sit there and sell a used game, because as soon as you buy that used game, GameStop has to charge you. You're going to have to pay whatever the retail value is currently for that game. So if I buy the newest Resident Evil on Xbox One for $70 and I throw it out of my car, I throw it out of my car window, some kid picks it up and he wants to play it, he's got to pay $70 to unlock that game for a system.
Man.
That is so ridiculous. And of course, GameStop, they're not going to sell this stuff. They're not going to. I mean, they can't. They're pretty much cornering them to where they can't. And Microsoft is so extremely anal about piracy protection and all this other stuff. I never thought that was so big of a problem when it came to their consoles. It's not the PC. It's not. But this new one, I do believe, is running off Windows 8, and it's going to be extra computery and extra Windows. And I don't know. I just think they're missing the big picture when it comes to a gaming system, and they're alienating their core fans. And I mean, to the point where I mean, people out there, gamers out there, everybody's going to know the PS versus the Xbox fans. You don't usually have both. It's kind of like the Megadeth versus Metallica fans back in the day or whatever. I mean, I'm a PS3 loyalist. Then you're going to have the other people that are Xbox loyalists. There's no other way about it. Nintendo Wii U, that's to the side. I don't know. It's not really a competitor for the other two. The other two are main competitors. The Wii U is something totally different. Nintendo is a family system. They market totally different games. So to me, you can have the Nintendo as well. But as far as the other two, it's one or the other. It's Pepsi or Coke, man. No ways about it. But you have people on the Xbox front who are now pretty much sold on the PS4. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I wouldn't mind seeing it because I absolutely hate the Xbox. And I think these are dumb decisions.
I'm not an Xbox person either, but I mean, I don't have a PlayStation anymore. I love PlayStation, but...
Not to mention, another thing about this Xbox One is the fact that... I don't remember it's going to come out in 2 price increments. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be able to buy one of them for whatever ridiculous price they're going to charge, and you're going to be able to buy a cheaper one, an alternative for people that, But the thing is they screw you, because if you buy the cheaper one, then you also have to buy like a year or 2 years of Xbox Live Premium, which is going to rape you monthly. So by the time after you're done paying that, you will have paid more for the system. Huh. It's a total sham, man. And somebody correct me if I got my facts, messed up, or maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a PlayStation and Nintendo fan here. But it sounds horrible. And the biggest concern was that they really didn't reveal any games during this. Nothing exciting anyway. So that's where E3 comes in. All the big heavy hitters are going to unveil some new games. Xbox is going to have some stuff. This is going to be their saving grace. They need to come out with games to get some interest in it. PlayStation 3, they've also got some stuff coming out. In particular, a new Final Fantasy. Square Enix is going to have a big display, and that's a company who's gone down the toilet, in my opinion. Final Fantasy used to be my favorite franchise, and they owned it back in the 90s. Actually, JRPGs owned the 90s, and now it's all about first-person shooters in the Western market of gaming, which I've never been able to get into. I don't like the Call of Duties. Call me old. I'm not into Gears of War, and I'm not into Halo, but whatever. I want Final Fantasy to come back. I heard that the president of the American division of Square Enix stepped down, quote unquote, asked to leave. Who knows what happened? Maybe this is going to mean something. I don't know if he had anything to do with creative decisions, but they're going to have a showcase called The Future of Final Fantasy. And I swear to God, if it's another sequel of Final Fantasy 13, I'm going to freak out. They need to just give the fans what they want and go back to the old format. Go give us a classic role-playing game, open world map, give us airships, give us turn-based. I don't care. Riverman, I don't know if I know you're not really a fan of that stuff, but they abandoned what they used to be. Now they're all about the modern day. They make their games like Western games. They fall on a trend, and they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. The biggest fall from grace in video games ever. So I'm hoping out for that. Wii U, they can't compete. The system is flunking, but that's because of marketing. I mean, I don't know who is in charge of marketing over there at Nintendo, but they need to be fired, and they need to re-strategize because they're bombing here. They came out with...
I haven't heard about anything from Wii U for the past 6 to 8 months.
Because the marketing is horrible, man. They released a system, and they didn't release any of the knockout games. They released, and they still haven't. I bought it first day, and I bought the Mario game they released with it, but I haven't bought a single game, and it's gathering dust. That's horrible. No, it is. It's horrible. Because the thing is I really, really like the Wii U.
Yeah.
People are knocking it because it's underpowered and it's more current gen than next gen. But look, it doesn't have to be overpowered. It doesn't have to have Blu-ray players and all that stuff installed. It's all about no frills because Nintendo knows, look, you live in the year 2013 or whatever, everything in your house plays Blu-rays and DVDs at this point. We're not going to add to costs and add to your cost by bloating this system with all this stuff. And I'm glad they don't, because I have a PlayStation 3. I don't need it to do everything my PlayStation 3 does. That's dumb. Give me something that is devoted to games. I mean, if Nintendo is good at anything that the others aren't, it's the fact that they're still a gaming-centered system where everybody else is trying to do everything else but play games.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we can watch TV. You can stream this and this. Now we're going to do social networking, whatever. So I have hopes for it because it's a really fun system. And they're supposedly, unveiling the big dogs at E3. I mean, it's kind of their play it safe in-house games. You got the new Mario Kart. You got, the Smash Brothers. The new 3D Mario, hopefully a new Zelda. So these are games that people want, that they really should have had in the first couple of months. So hopefully it's their saving grace too. We'll see. But the last thing I want to discuss, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and I think I mentioned it on the last episode, the controversy with David Hayter, supposedly not being asked to come back to reprise his famous role as Solid Snake, in which he's played since 1998. I mean, no other actor has been so connected to a character and associated with a character than David Hayter, and nobody is as irreplaceable as David Hayter in a character. And so, I when they announced it, he went on a thing on Twitter saying things like that. Then he did a couple of interviews, and it just didn't add up to me. And I was still thinking, holding out, well, Hideo Kojima is a weird guy. He likes to pull one over on his fans all the time. He's the director of Metal Gear Solid, River. And I don't know. My predictions, I'm thinking, are going to be true now because they released a teaser a few days ago, whatever, of the E3. They're going to have an E3 spot. Actually, it's the pre-show E3, and it's a teaser with Snake, and it says something to the effect of "kept you waiting." Okay, and then David Hayter has released some cryptic messages saying things like, "Can't wait for E3. Hope I don't lose my voice." Okay, so as I predict, it's pretty obvious at this point. He is, in fact, the voice of Snake, and it was nothing but a big marketing scheme to get a lot of attention and press and interest into their showcase at the E3, which it works. It's a good idea because now I'm really interested. I want to tune in. Like, all right, is he in it? But whatever. That's all it is. I don't know. I hope it is because that's my favorite franchise now that FF's dead, and I don't know. I really want to be excited about it, but that's all I got, River. What, do you not play games anymore, River?
No, I don't. My PlayStation overheated, and I don't play games anymore. But I play Paperboy on my phone.
That Zombies Ate My Neighbor, dude?
No, Paperboy, dude.
I know, but yeah, those old games like Paperboy and Zombies Ate My Neighbor.
Oh yeah, dude, those are great, dude.
Things like that. I think you still rock your Sega Genesis, man.
Yeah, I still play Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis.
And I'm not
video game ever.
I play. It is a good game, but I think Donkey Kong is the greatest game. Anyway, I still play my old games. I'll be hard pressed to buy a whole lot of brand new games. So
too expensive, dude.
They're expensive, but they were always expensive when they first came out, honestly. But I just
$70 like the new ones are gonna be.
You know what? I think I'm just becoming that guy. They just don't make them like they used to. Cartoons aren't as good as when I was a kid, and games aren't as good as when I was a kid. That's just the way it is. And if that's who I am, that's who I am. But honestly, I take it back. I was silenced because they released a new JRPG called Ni no Kuni some months back, and I played that, and I fell in love with that. So I think more so it's just a shift in the market that I don't like. I don't like games nowadays. It's all about the West. Back in the day, it was all about Japanese games. The Japanese market, and now it's all about Western market first-person shooters. And I have never, ever, ever liked first-person shooters. So, and online gaming does nothing for me. I don't want to get my ass kicked by a 5-year-old at Mortal Kombat 2 over and over and over and over and over again, which I've been there. It doesn't do anything for me.
You've been there at my house.
I did, and then we won after about 80 rounds, and that guy quit. Yeah. That pussy quit on us. It wasn't fair. But anyway, it's just. The gaming market needs to change for me, but who am I to say? They probably won't change based on someone like me, in my opinion, because the gaming world and the industry is bigger than it's ever been. So they're going to go where the money is, and right now it's with their Call of Duties and things like that. So people like me and old school fans are left in the dust. Whatever. But anyway, tune into that. That's honestly all I got. That's honestly it.
I think you said it all.
I think I said it all. You know what, guys? Keep in mind, coming up here in the summertime, we've got KC Crypticon. I think that's our next event. Yep. And keep an eye out for that. You guys make it up to Kansas City. Come see us at our booth. We'll be giving away some stuff, most likely. Check out the cool swag we're going to have. And, last time I heard, follow those guys on Facebook, by the way, for any updates, KC Crypticon. I think they're trying to get... They're trying to get Danny Glover in. It's not official yet, but I would love to see Danny Glover there, man. I'd love to interview him. You
We're
know?
going to have our own kissing booth, and Goose is going to be the main attraction.
Absolutely, man. Can we get maybe Danny Glover to come on by and be our guest kisser too? I could never leave JP.
He's coming too.
So we're gonna be like a family. Yep. I like him. Except now he had a stroke, so he's all like
Who, Glover did?
Yeah, Danny Glover had a stroke. If you've ever seen the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, that's him post-stroke. He's got a lip that hangs, and he had the lip like, I'm too old for this shit. That's what he sounds. It's sad. I'm not making fun of him, but he's awesome. So we're looking forward to that one. Going to be a lot of coverage. Come on down. Other than that, make sure to check out the website, behindthemaskpresents.com. Check out the Facebook. Show us some support and like us there. Pretty easy to find. Facebook.com, I believe, /BehindTheMaskPresents. I think it's as easy as it gets. And the YouTube channel as well to check out. Any
feedback on iTunes, please.
We love that, man. Ask us questions on the iTunes, and we'll address any one of them you want, and we love it. So keep that coming, guys. But anyway, I'm out. I'm Goose,
and I'm Riva.
Thank you guys for joining us.
We'll see you guys later.